Good day, folks. I'm Joss. Today, I want to tell you about another dream that I had about 5 years ago. In the dream, it started out, I had just gotten to New Orleans. Now, I had been to New Orleans a number of times, and I've always loved that city. But in the dream, I get there and I'm with my brother and his lady. I tell them I'm going to hit the shower, and they say, cool, we're going to hit the street, do what we do in New Orleans. So I get in the shower, I take my shower, and when I get out of the shower, in the kitchen is a guy who doesn't speak any English at all, just sitting there eating a bowl of cereal. He looked like a Somali or something like that. And I'm like, hey, bro, you're in the wrong room. He says, no, I live here. I'm like, you live here? No, this is our hotel room, bro. You're in the wrong spot. But he just ignores me and continues to eat the cereal. And for whatever reason, I just kind of brush it off. And I'm like, well, I'm in New Orleans. I'm going to go out and I'm having a good time. So I get out on the road and I look over and I see behind like this vendor trailer, these two kids. They're like smoking weed, passing back and forth and stuff. And it's like, ha, it's funny. You kids, crazy kids. It was all funny, fun and games. And I go down the road a little bit further, and of course, there's all the usual shenanigans, people showing boobies and whatnot. It's all funny. It's just really cool. And I just keep going. As I'm getting a little further down the street, it's getting darker and darker. And when night falls in New Orleans, shit gets kind of awry. So I continue walking. And as I get a little further down the road, things get a little darker. Not just it getting nighttime. The things that I was seeing were getting darker. I end up seeing, a transgender. And I'm like, whoa, that's kind of freaky, And that wasn't real prominent at the time that I had the dream. And that's what makes me think, the dream may be a bit prophetic, especially with some of the things I've seen a little bit later. I go down the road a little bit and there's a dead body. Everyone's just kind of standing around looking at it. Some people are laughing, like, I don't know how the guy passed, but obviously it was funny to the crowd standing there watching. And I thought, man, it's kind of sick to laugh at a guy who just died. But I continued walking. There's another dead guy. He's obviously dead because he doesn't have a head. Decapitated. And there's another transgender filleting his dead body. And I'm like, oh my God, what have I stumbled into? It's about this time I notice that I'm not really walking down this road with my own fruition. The road is like a conveyor belt and it's just going. So at this point, I'm kind of trying to backtrack, but the road just keeps going. And then I see people eating people. And I'm like really getting into a panic at this moment. I'm like, oh no. I mean, come on, man. I need back to my hotel. This is too much. I can't take it. And then it starts to slope. And of course, it's a conveyor belt running downhill. And it's kind of corkscrewing around. And I realize I'm heading into a pit. What is going on? And I'm panicking, and I'm starting to panic, and I'm sliding, and I'm grabbing onto like a stair rail, and I lose my grip, and I'm falling, and I'm screaming like, oh no, what's going on? And then at that moment, I'm like ejected out of like an escape hatch in the back of one of those old carnival fun houses. It was very bizarre. It's really all I remember of the dream. But what's funny about dreams like that is you kind of understand what it all means, at least in the moment you do. And for me, what I took away was how easily we could fall into some very grotesque sin. It starts off simple. Look at these two kids over there smoking a little bit of weed. Never hurt anybody, right? It does hurt people because it opens doors to what came down that road. Have you ever clicked on a porn site and you didn't want to see what was being shown to you? You think you're going to look at some boobies or something, and you click on something, and what do you know? Nice set of boobies, but it's also got a, you know what I'm talking about. And you're like, ooh, you back up out of that, and you kind of look for stuff that you kind of want, but that seed is planted. Next thing you know, you get fugazied again, you click on something, and you're like, damn, that's a nice ass. You turn around, rah, rah, rah. And then your gears start turning. You think, nice ass is a nice ass. And before you know it, you consider the idea of doing something that beforehand you would have never considered. And if you keep going down that path, I would imagine that it progresses to children. And then when that's not good enough, then heck, why not eat the children? Everyone on that Epstein list probably started out that way. Simple, innocuous, one thing leads to another. And this is sin in general. It's deadly serious. So was that dream prophetic? Well, with everything coming to light these days, I think it may have been. I had that dream at a time in my life when I was pretty new in my regained faith and was trying to make changes, but there was some sin that still had a grip on me. I think the Spirit was showing me the seriousness of sin, even some of the sins that I didn't think were such a big deal.